Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel Advanced English. In this video, I'm going to teach you pronoun. And obviously this word pronoun is not unknown to you. You all are very familiar with it. And this is part 1, right? You know very well that what pronoun is. A word that is used in the place of noun is called pronoun. But at the same time, you have some obstacles. You feel obstacles when you use pronouns in your sentences. At the same time, you oftenly come across the questions regarding error corrections in your exam, whatever exam you sit for, right? And that's where you face problems regarding pronouns. But don't worry. In this video and in these coming videos, I'm going to explain each and everything regarding pronoun. And I do hope by the end of the video, the doubts you have, everything will be cleared, right? So let's start with rule number 1. Okay students, so let's start rule number 1, and we learn rule number 1 through a sentence, error correction. So we have a sentence: my brother and me went to an animal shelter and we adopted a dog, right? And I have divided this sentence. My brother and me, part 1 is A, went to an animal shelter, this is B, and we adopted a dog, this is part C, and number D is no error. So what you have to do, you are told to find the error in this sentence if you think it has. Okay, so now let me explain you what is the error in this sentence and why it is. See, we have two pronouns in this sentence. Number 1, this is we, and number 2, this is me. So we have two pronouns in this sentence. This is we and this is me. Clear? We and me, both are pronouns and both are personal pronouns, right? But the thing is, we is subjective pronoun. Subjective pronoun, and me is objective. Okay, so we is subjective pronoun and me is objective pronoun. Now let me explain you why. Why do I call it subjective and why do I call it objective? Because we, this pronoun is used in the sentence as a subject, and me, this one, is used in the sentence as an object of the verb, right? See, we have many pronouns, those are used as subjective pronouns, like we. You can use I, you can use you can use he, she, they. These all are subjective pronouns because they are used as subject. But at the same time, me, us, him, us, me, and many others, these all are used as objective pronouns. Now let me explain you how. See, whenever you want to find the subject in a sentence, how you can find it? If you want to ask the verb a question with who or what, if you ask the verb a question with who or what, you will get subject, right? And at the same time, if you want to find object of the verb, then you have to ask question what or whom. Whom. Then only you will get object. Clear? Object of the verb. See, so suppose in this sentence, at first you have to know which one is a verb. The verb is went. This is the verb. Clear? So the question is, who went? Who went? The answer would be my brother and me. So answer is my brother and me. And there is another one. See, who adopted a dog? Who adopted again the answer is we. Clear? So in this way you will find the subject of the verb. Who went to an animal shelter? The answer would be my brother and me. And number two, who adopted a dog? The answer would be we. Now we have already found the subject of the verb, but the thing is, I said that me, this one, me is objective pronoun. Me is not subjective pronoun. But in this sentence, my brother and me, this pronoun is used as subjective, right? So me is used as subjective in the sentence, but the thing is, me, this word is not a subjective. It is an objective pronoun. So you can say that me is wrongly used in this sentence, right? So what should be used in the place of me? You have to use I, because I is the subjective pronoun of which me is an objective pronoun. So in the place of me, you have to use I, because I is subjective. As I said, I is subjective and me is objective. But in this sentence, this part is subject of the verb went. So the use of me is completely wrong. You have to use I. So that's why this part, the first part, is completely wrong in this sentence. So what would be the correct use of this sentence? The correct sentence would be, my brother and I went to an animal shelter and we adopted a dog, right? So that's the use of I and me. So that means you have to be very conscious whenever you use any pronoun as subjective and objective. Okay, let me give you a small list of subjective pronoun and an objective pronoun. Then only it will be more clear to you. Okay, so let me give you one. Now look at this board and you will have one list, small list. This is subjective pronoun and this is objective pronoun, right? So this is very familiar to you. I do hope you all know it very well. See, if I is subjective, then me would be object of I, right? If we is subjective, then us would be objective part of we. Then you, he, it would be him, she, it would be her, and they, it would be them, right? So this is what you have to know, that objective part and the subjective part. Now let me give you one example. Suppose the sentence is, they gave me a beautiful painting. They gave me a beautiful painting. Now in this sentence, at first see, I have used they, so they is subjective. Now I have again used me, which is objective form. Now how and why I have used it? See, this is S means subject, they is subject. If I ask who gave, the answer would be they. Okay, so this is the subject of the verb gave. Now you are not supposed to use them over here because this is subject that you have to use. Now the second question is what gave means what they gave. What they gave, what they gave a beautiful painting. So this is an object. So what they gave a beautiful painting, right? Another part, as I said before, that if you want to find object, then you have to ask verb with two things. Number one, what? We have already got one object, and the second was is whom they gave a beautiful painting. Me, they gave me. So me is another object. Clear? So me is another object. So we have two objects, me and a beautiful painting. So as me is object in this sentence, at the same time I said that me is objective. So this use in this sentence is completely right. So in this over here, if you have written like they gave I, then it would be wrong. Clear? So whenever you use subjective or objective pronouns in your sentence, you have to be very conscious whether you are using them as subject or object, because you cannot exchange them, right? If you want to use them as subject, then you have to use only this part, and if you want to use them as an object, then you have to use another this part: me, us, you, him, her, them, any of them, right? So students, it was rule number 1, and I do hope your doubts regarding subjective and objective pronouns is completely clear to you now. Okay, so now let's start with rule number 2. In rule number 2, again you will have a sentence first. It was her who told the police regarding those unknown persons, A, B and C. Okay, see, in this rule we will learn one thing. We will learn how to use relative clause after subjective or objective pronouns. See, if the sentence structure is like this, it is or it was plus subjective or objective pronoun, and then if you want to use any relative clause, then there is a rule, there is a process how to use them. See, first of all, over here I have used her. So her, what? Her is objective pronoun, right? So her is objective, and according to the rule, whenever you want to use any relative clause after objective pronoun, you have to use that. You have to use that. So this is the process. If the sentence structure is like this, it is or it was, and if you want to use any relative clause after objective pronoun, then you have to use only that. So the sentence should be like her, then that. Okay, let me give you one example. You can write, it is me that. It is me that, because me is objective pronoun. Okay, now again, number 2, if subjective pronoun plus any relative clause, then you have to use who. Okay, this is another part. So if you want to use any relative clause after subjective pronoun, then you have to use who. Okay, so if the sentence is it is I, then you have to use who. It is I who, right? If it was like it was he, then it would be it was he who. Clear? Now look at this sentence. I have used her. So her is objective pronoun. So according to this, after objective pronoun, you are supposed to use that. So who is completely wrong. What would be used? You are supposed to write that in place of who. So the correct sentence could be, it was her that told the police regarding those unknown persons, right? If the sentence is a bit different, suppose if the sentence was it was she, suppose the sentence was it was she, then you have to write it was she who. Clear? So remember this part. Whenever the sentence structure is like this, it is or it was, and if it is objective pronoun, and if we use in relative clause after objective pronoun, then it must be that, not who. Clear? Again, if it is subjective pronoun and if you want to use in relative clause, then again you have to use who, not that. So these two parts is very important that you have to remember. Clear? So this is all about relative clause and subjective pronoun or objective pronoun of rule number 2. Now let us go to rule number 3. And in rule number 3, I am going to tell you regarding reflexive pronoun. Right? You will learn about reflexive pronoun. So let's see. Okay, students, now it's rule number 3. And rule number 3, you have to learn about reflexive pronoun. So before you go ahead with the rules, you have to know what reflexive pronoun is. See, whenever we use self or selves after my, your, her, or his, then it becomes reflexive pronoun. And we use reflexive pronoun in a different, aspects. So let's see. At first, let me give you a small idea, okay, or a small list of reflexive pronoun. Okay, so let's wait. Okay, so let me show you subjective and reflexive pronoun. See, if it is I, then the reflexive pronoun would be myself. Okay, if it is we, then it would be ourselves, selves. If it is you, then it would be yourself, right? Or if it is you in pronoun, in plural form, then it would be yourselves. In pronoun, plural form. Again, if it is he, it would be himself. If it is she, it would be herself. And if it is they, then it would be themselves. And if it is it would be itself. Okay, say myself, then himself, herself, itself, these all are singular form. Only selves, this is plural. Again, yourselves, this is plural. And again, themselves, it is again plural. Right? So this is reflexive part and this is subjective part. So whenever you want to use a reflexive pronoun, you have to use myself in the place of I. So this is the process, or this is the small list that you have to keep it in your mind. Now let's see how to use this reflexive pronoun through rules. Okay, rule number 3. Let me give you one single sentence to examine or explain this process. Let's see. Okay, so students, this is rule number 3. Another sentence. The president gave Mohan and myself an award for our project. The president gave, this is A, Mohan and myself, this is B, an award for our project, number C, and number D is no error. So again, this sentence has an error, and usually you get such sentences in your exam paper. See, the president gave Mohan and myself an award for our project. Over here, I have used myself, and myself is reflexive pronoun, just you have seen. Now, the thing is, what you have to find at first? You have to find, gave is the verb of the sentence, and what is the subject? Subject is the president. The president is subject, means who gave? The president gave. Now, whom? Who gave what? The president gave an award. So an award is one object, and there is another object of this sentence. Whom the president gave? The president gave Mohan and myself. Mohan and myself. Okay. Now, so, but the thing is, what is wrong in it? See, I have used myself in the place of object, but the thing is, you have to know the rule. The rule says that reflexive pronoun cannot be used as subject or object of the verb. Clear? So, reflexive pronoun cannot be used as subject or object of any verb. So that means the use of myself as object of verb gave is completely wrong in this sentence. I cannot use myself as an object in this sentence. So what would be the correct use? What is the reflexive pronoun of myself? Myself is reflexive pronoun of I, which is subject, and object is me, right? So the correct use should be the president gave Mohan and me an award for our project. It would be the right sentence. So myself cannot be used in this sentence. So this is all about rule number 3. So you have to remember very well that reflexive pronoun cannot be used as subject or object. If you write, suppose, let me give you another example. Sometimes we write in this way. See, myself will solve any problem, right? So if you say in this way, myself will solve any problem, then myself is the subject, and as I said just, that reflexive pronoun cannot be used as subject, so you cannot use myself will. You have to use I will or I shall, right? So this is all about rule number 3. So let's see rule number 4. Okay students, here we have rule number 4. In rule number 4, we have another sentence. He is going to the shop to buy him some new books. He is going to the shop to buy him some new books. A, B, C. These 3 parts. Now he is going to the shop to buy him some new books. In this sentence, I have used him. It is an objective pronoun, and this part is wrongly used in this sentence. Why? Let me explain. See, first of all, you know what is subject in this sentence. Who is going? Who is going? He. So he is subject. He is subject, and we all know that he is subjective pronoun. He is subjective pronoun. So the use of he in this sentence is right. Now there are 2 objects in this sentence. What? Number 1, what? If you ask what, I mean what he is going to buy. He is going to buy some new books. So some new books. This is also object, and we have another object, to whom he is going to buy some new books. To whom? If you ask to whom, the answer is him, right? So him is another object of this sentence. Now you may have this question. See, he is subjective pronoun, is used as subject, right? Him, we all know it's objective pronoun. Him, another object. So him is another object in this sentence. Now you know it very well that him is an objective pronoun, and at the same time him is used as an object in this sentence. So what is wrong? Still there is an error. Why? Because see, rule number 4 says that whenever subject and object are the same persons, whenever the subject and the object are the same person, then you have to use reflexive pronoun as an object in the place of object, right? So over here you have to use reflexive pronoun. You have to use reflexive pronoun over here because subject he and object are the same person. So him should not be used over here. You have to use reflexive pronoun. And what is a reflexive pronoun of he? Reflexive pronoun is himself. So you have to use himself. Okay, so use himself in place of him. So the correct sentence should be, he is going to the shop to buy himself some new books. So that's the thing you have to remember. Suppose, let me give you more examples. Suppose you can write, I shall punish myself. I shall punish myself. She dressed herself, right? Or you can write, suppose they will represent themselves. They will represent themselves. So I shall punish myself, she dressed herself, they will represent themselves. In these sentences, subject and object are the same person. Subject and object are the same person, and that's the reason you have to use reflexive pronoun as object. But in the previous rule, you have already known that reflexive pronoun cannot be used as subject or object. That's true. That's true. But on the other hand, you have to see if the subject and object are the same person, then only reflexive pronoun can be used as object in the sentence, right? So that's a bit contrast between these two rules. Okay, so you have to know it very well and use them properly in your sentence. Okay students, now in rule number 5, I'll show you how to use by plus reflexive pronoun. Okay, so you have to see when you can use by plus reflexive pronoun. See, whenever the subject or the noun does anything alone, means without getting help from outside or without anyone's help, without any company, then only you can use by plus reflexive pronoun. Suppose when you say that he can fix the car by himself, that means he can fix the car without getting help from outside, without getting help of anyone, so he can do it by himself. Then only you can use reflexive pronoun. Or you can say I will do it myself. I will do it myself. Okay, suppose she painted it herself, by herself. Okay, so he can fix the car by himself, I will do it myself, or you can use by myself. Both you can use. By myself, she painted it by herself. Now in these sentences, why I have used by plus reflexive pronoun? Because it indicates that the subject or the noun in this sentence, they do anything without having help from others, right? So they do it alone. Then only you can use by plus reflexive pronoun. So students, here is the end of pronoun part 1. In next video, I'll give you more rules regarding pronoun. Okay, so, and if you like this video, then share it with your friend and do subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get all the notifications. Okay, so thank you all of you for watching this video. Thank you.